Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is VC Pramod with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bangladesh counterpart Sheikh Hasina inaugurate 1,320 megawatt Maitri power plant. Both the countries ink 7 MOUs. India's first intranasal COVID-19 vaccine by Bharat Biotech gets DCGI approval for emergency use. India and United States partnership of trust rests on 3 pillars of trade, tech and talent, says Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. National Commission for Scheduled Caste directs bankers to implement central welfare programs within deadline. Demat accounts in India crossed 10 crore for the first time. ED raids multiple locations across the country in connection with Delhi excise policy case. Queen Elizabeth II appoints Liz Truss as the next Prime Minister of Britain. And in Asia Cup T20 cricket, the match between India and Sri Lanka is underway in the Super 4 game at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina held bilateral talks in New Delhi today to review and further strengthen the all-encompassing India-Bangladesh partnership. Issues related to connectivity, energy, water resources, trade and investment, border management and security, development partnership and regional and multilateral matters were on the agenda. 2 leaders jointly unveiled Unit 1 of the Maitri Super Thermal Power Project following bilateral and delegation-level talks in Delhi. The project is being constructed under India's concessional financing scheme. It will add 1,320 megawatt to Bangladesh's national grid. 7 MOUs including on water resources, railways, science and technology, space technology were exchanged following the talks. This includes an MOU between Prasar Bharati and Bangladesh Television on cooperation in the field of broadcasting. In his press statement, Prime Minister Modi announced that an important agreement on water sharing from the Kushiara River has been signed today. This will benefit southern Assam in India and Sylhet region in Bangladesh. He pointed out that there are 54 rivers that pass through the Indo-Bangladesh border and have been linked to the livelihood of the people of both the countries for centuries. Mr. Modi said that they also stressed on cooperation against terrorism and fundamentalism. He expressed confidence that India and Bangladesh ties will touch new heights.
मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि अगले 25 सालों के अमृत काल में भारत बांग्लादेश मित्रता नई ऊंचाइयां छुएगी। प्रधानमंत्री शेख हसीना जी के नेतृत्व में बांग्लादेश ने उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की है। पिछले कुछ सालों में हमारा आपसी सहयोग भी हर क्षेत्र में तेजी से बढ़ा है। आज बांग्लादेश भारत का सबसे बड़ा डेवलपमेंट पार्टनर और क्षेत्र में हमारा सबसे बड़ा ट्रेड पार्टनर है।
The Prime Minister said bilateral trade is growing rapidly and Bangladesh is today India's largest development and trade partner in the region. He said that across Asia, India is the biggest market for exports from Bangladesh. To further expedite this progress, India will soon initiate discussions on a bilateral economic comprehensive partnership agreement. Speaking to media on the occasion, the Bangladesh Prime Minister said India is a friend and recalled the contribution India has made during the liberation war of our nation. She hoped that today's discussion will be fruitful and added that the main aim is to develop economically and also fulfill the basic needs of the people. Ms. Hasina also paid her respects to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. The Bangladesh Prime Minister also called on Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar this evening. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on the visiting dignitary yesterday. Our correspondent takes a look at the ties between India and Bangladesh.
Bangladesh and India share an over 4,000-kilometer-long international border. The 5 states of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura and West Bengal border Bangladesh. The land boundary has been amicably settled between the two sides with the ratification of the historic Protocol to Land Boundary Agreement in 2015. In 2021-22, Bangladesh has emerged as the largest trade partner for India in South Asia and 4th largest export destination for India. In the last 5 years, the bilateral trade has grown from from $9 billion to $18 billion. Bangladesh accounts for the largest share of foreign tourist arrivals in India. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra today said Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bangladesh counterpart Sheikh Hasina held extensive and productive discussions including political and security cooperation, energy partnership, water conservation and trade and economic ties. Briefing media in New Delhi this afternoon, Mr. Quatra said there was a strong agreement between the two leaders on the significance of further strengthening bilateral and sub-regional cooperation. Both the leaders unveiled and inaugurated important development projects, including Unit 1 of the Maitri Super Thermal Power Project and the 5.13-kilometer Rupshar Rail Bridge, which is a key part of the 64.7-kilometer Khulna-Mongla Port Broad Gauge Rail Project.
Both leaders underscored the importance of continuing our security cooperation in the fields of counterterrorism, border management, and addressing cross-border crimes. They agreed to further enhance our development partnership, including upgradation of railway infrastructure projects in Bangladesh. Both leaders agreed to build resilient supply chains between both countries and across the region. Both leaders have directed the concerned ministries to commence negotiations on a bilateral comprehensive economic partnership agreement, CEPA, this year in 2022.
President Draupadi Murmu has said that the pandemic and the current international situation demand that India and Bangladesh remain more economically connected to deal with the global crisis. During a meeting with the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, at Rashtrapati Bhavan today, the President expressed confidence that with her visit to India, the relations between the two countries will further mature and develop. Ms. Murmu said our relations have always been guided by the spirit of cooperation and mutual trust. The President noted that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, bilateral ties between India and Bangladesh have grown immensely.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has expressed confidence that the partnership of trust between India and United States, resting on three pillars of trade, tech and talent, is going ahead from strength to strength. He said this while briefing the media in San Francisco today. He informed that he interacted with eminent business professionals, CEOs, senior captains of the industry, startup ecosystems and venture capitalists. Our correspondent reports that Mr. Goyal is on a visit to San Francisco and Los Angeles in the United States of America from the 5th to the 10th of this month to attend the India-US Strategic Partnership Forum Conference and Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Ministerial Meeting. National Commission for Scheduled Castes Vice Chairman Arun Haldar today directed bankers to meet the targets set by the central government in implementing programs for the welfare of SCs. He reviewed the implementation of various central schemes with bankers and senior officials in Hyderabad today. Later, addressing the media, he said some banks are doing well, however some are not meeting their targets. He further said that they have been directed to focus on upliftment programs and achieve targets. The Commission also held hearings on a few petitions, especially from Medchal, Malkajgiri, Vikarabad and Nagar Kurnool districts. He also asked officials to respect the decisions of the Commission and not to approach courts over the decision as it is further delaying justice to the poor SCs.
हैदराबाद सेक्टर का जितने बैंक का सीजीएम था सबको मैंने बुलाया है। सोशली इकोनॉमिकली अनुसूचित जाति वर्गों को लोगों को अगर अपलिफ्टमेंट करने सरकार चाहता है, लेकिन किसी कारण से ये ग्रासरूट तक नहीं हो रहा है। इसमें विशेष रूप से बैंक का बहुत बड़ा जिम्मेदारी बनता है। बहुत लोगों को कंप्लेन आता है बैंक हमको लोन नहीं दे रहा है, तो आप लोगों को ये जो परिसंख्यान ठीक से करना चाहिए। बहुत सारे बैंक अच्छा भी किया है, तो हम लोग ये मॉनिटरिंग करके उनको सुझाव दिया है। आप इमीडिएट जितना आपका टारगेट है, ये टारगेट आप लोग फुलफिल कीजिए। अपना तरफ से 2-4 लोगों को नॉमिनेट करके उनको गवर्नमेंट का जो पॉलिसी आप ये पॉलिसी उनको मिला दीजिए। अगर 1 साल में वो फैमिली अपलिफ्टमेंट हो जाएगा आपका थ्रू से, तो आपका भी मन में एक शांति लगेगा। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का सोच है कि सबका साथ सबका विकास। आप लोग गवर्नमेंट के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, तो आप लोग किसी मुद्दा में ध्यान दीजिए। ये सुझाव उन लोगों को दिया है।
The 2-day-long Quad senior officials meeting, which began yesterday, concluded in New Delhi today. Senior officials from the foreign ministries of Australia, India, Japan and the USA discussed regional and global developments, reaffirming their vision for a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. They also reviewed ongoing cooperation and the progress of initiatives announced under the Quad framework. The Ministry of Finance has released the 6th monthly installment of Post-Devolution Revenue Deficit (PDRD) grant of over 7,183 crore rupees to 14 states for the month of September. These states are Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Himachal Pradesh, Kerala, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand and West Bengal.
The Ministry of Railways has clarified that it has not invited bids from private entities to run its 150 pairs of passenger trains through PPP mode. The ministry in a statement today said no such proposal is under consideration and that any bids have been invited recently. It termed media reports stating that Indian Railways has for the first time invited bids from private entities to run 150 pairs of passenger trains through PPP mode as fake and misleading. The media reports also stated that those private entities will have the liberty to decide passenger fares on these trains. The Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Ministry today relaxed the existing limit of 25 quintals for the purchase of Moong and Urad under the Price Support Scheme (PSS) during the summer season 2021-22 for farmers in Madhya Pradesh. It has been now increased to 40 quintals per farmer per day. The exemption limit has been approved for Madhya Pradesh farmers on the instructions of the Union Agriculture Minister, Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar.
India's first intranasal COVID-19 vaccine developed by Bharat Biotech has received approval for restricted use in emergency situations among people aged above 18 years. In a tweet, Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has termed this feat as a big boost to India's fight against COVID-19. Dr. Mandavia also said this step will further strengthen government's collective fight against the pandemic. He said under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has harnessed its science, research and development and human resources in the fight against COVID-19. The minister expressed hope that the science-driven approach and efforts of all the country will defeat COVID-19. More than 213 crore 72 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive so far. The Health Ministry said around 20 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 4,417 new COVID cases were reported in the country.
Minister of State for Education Annapurna Devi has said that the National Education Policy 2020 is a key initiative to help realize Prime Minister Modi's Panch Pran vision of developing India by 2047. She was speaking at the inauguration of Shikshak Parv 2022 and the launch of new initiatives relating to education and skill development in New Delhi today. Ministers of State for Education Dr. Subhash Sarkar and Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh were also present at the event. The ministers presented the CBSE Honour for Excellence in Teaching and School Leadership 2021-22 awards to 19 principals and teachers from CBSE affiliated schools. They also conferred AICTE's National Technical Teachers Award 2022 upon 14 faculty members. The ministers also launched various initiatives taken by the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship during the event. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has said that the country's economy is progressing rapidly and India has become the 5th largest economy in the world, leaving England behind. Mr. Thakur was addressing the program Mera Himachal, Mera Gaurav, 75 Years of Himachal, an event organized in Bilaspur district of Himachal Pradesh today. He said the double-engine government has established rapid development in the country and the state. Comparing the development works done in Himachal from 1948 till now, he said there is a sea change in the state in the last 75 years. The Union Minister said all the welfare schemes of the central government are being extended to the people without any discrimination.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bangladesh counterpart Sheikh Hasina inaugurate 1,320 megawatt Maitri power plant. Both the countries ink 7 MOUs. India's first intranasal COVID-19 vaccine by Bharat Biotech gets DGCI approval for emergency use. India and the United States' partnership of trust rests on 3 pillars of trade, tech and talent, says Commerce Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. National Commission for Scheduled Castes directs bankers to implement central welfare programs within deadline. Demat accounts in India cross 10 crore for the first time. ED raids multiple locations across the country in connection with Delhi excise policy case. Queen Elizabeth II appoints Liz Truss as the next Prime Minister of Britain. And in Asia Cup T20 cricket, the match between India and Sri Lanka is underway in the Super 4 game at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
मुट्ठी भर अंग्रेज और हमारे विशाल देश पर राज करने का स्वप्न देख रहे हैं, पर हम इनके स्वप्न को चकनाचूर कर देंगे।
निकल पड़े स्वाधीनता के पथ वाले, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की सुनी अनसुनी कहानियों के साथ स्वराज हर रविवार रात 9 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर।
Welcome back. You're listening to the evening news. India has witnessed a milestone in the way of financial inclusion as several Demat accounts in the country crossed the 10 crore mark for the first time in August this year. According to data released by depository firms National Securities Depository Limited (NDSL) and Central Depository Services (CDSL), over 22 lakh new accounts were opened in August, taking the figure to 10 crore and 5 lakhs. The sharp surge in the market is attributed to ease of account opening, an increase in mobile and data penetration, and a drop in brokerage rates. It also shows people's acceptance of Demat accounts and Indian securities market as an investment avenue. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari will inaugurate a 3-day by-invitation conference cum public expo called Manthan in Bengaluru on Thursday. The event, organized by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, aims at anchoring discussions across multiple issues and opportunities in the roads, transport and logistics sector. It will engage the states, union territories and other key stakeholders from the industry for sharing best practices, policy support and capacity development. The theme of Manthan is Ideas to Action towards a smart, sustainable road infra, mobility and logistics ecosystem.
BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda will interact with a group of heads of missions to India tomorrow under the No BJP initiative. Heads of missions from 12 countries are expected to participate in the interaction with the BJP President at the party headquarters in New Delhi. This interaction is a part of the series of programs No BJP initiative launched by Mr. Nadda, and this will be the 5th interaction with the heads of mission in this series. On the foundation day of BJP on the 6th of April this year, Mr. Nadda launched the new initiative No BJP specifically to address the overseas audience. During the event, Mr. Nadda will elaborate on the history, struggle, success, ideology and contribution of the BJP in nation building. Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of AIR News digital platforms.
The continued trust by listeners in AIR has become stronger thanks to the contribution of the robust digital presence of AIR built lately. All India Radio has been providing news updates on various digital platforms like Twitter, YouTube, app, website, Facebook, Instagram and Cool, along with the traditional means, thereby making it the ubiquitous medium to access trustworthy news. Chairman of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, NTAGI, Dr. N.K. Arora says that All India Radio's social media handles provided platforms to seek health-related information for those who desired it in the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
During last 2.5 years, India has faced the onslaught of COVID pandemic. Print and electronic media played a very important role. Social mobilization was done in a preemptive and proactive manner. Awareness was created and people were given the information in a transparent manner. All India Radio used social media channels like Twitter, Facebook and other platforms to effectively spread the messages, whether it is regarding the awareness, whether about corona-appropriate behavior or accepting the vaccination program. It has played a huge role in getting India today what it is today.
All India Radio News Network digital platforms have achieved trailblazing milestones, the most recent crossing 3 million followers on Twitter. Digital India Corporation CEO Abhishek Singh says that digital platforms of All India Radio are doing a great job.
So many people across the country depend on All India Radio for getting their daily dose of news, daily dose of updates, daily dose of insights in all sectors of economy, all the new happenings, not only in India but abroad. So the fact that All India Radio has reached this milestone of 3 million is no surprise. I am hopeful and I am confident that All India Radio will continue to provide news and updates to all people across the world through its radio network as also its social media channels.
In November 2021, AIR launched a new program called AIR Next to offer youth a platform to air their voices as part of the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. Such programs aim to encourage the youth to speak about the achievements of the country after independence. Followers of All India Radio say that its digital platforms have become part of their daily life.
Hello everyone, myself Parisha Girya, an 11th grader from North Lakhimpur, Assam. Listening news on All India Radio is a tradition followed across generations. All India Radio's foray into social media space has been proved to be a boon for the younger generation, including me. It has become my one-stop destination to get truthful, accurate and impartial news. Staying updated about current affairs makes me feel empowered and also helps in my studies. I thank All India Radio for their reliable services.
Growth of the News on AIR official YouTube channel to 4.5 lakh subscribers in a short duration of 3 years reflects the relevance of All India Radio News on all platforms. In yet another landmark, the number of followers on Facebook for AIR News has crossed 3.4 million. The followers on the AIR News Facebook page are from more than 43 different countries. This makes it the voice of India and also a link between India and Indian diaspora across the globe. AIR is also disseminating news in regional languages through its 44 Twitter handles across all states and UTs. News on AIR app has proven to be a game changer for All India Radio, as 270 All India Radio streams are available on News on AIR app in India and globally in more than 190 countries.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani ke saath can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles.
The Enforcement Directorate ED today conducted raids in connection with the Delhi excise policy case. Sources said the searches were conducted in Delhi NCR as well as in Lucknow, Chandigarh, Mumbai, Hyderabad and other cities. The ED case is based on the CBI FIR in this matter. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is among the 15 accused named in the FIR filed by the CBI. The FIR was lodged for alleged violation of rules and procedural lapses in the new liquor policy. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists affiliated with the proscribed Hizbul Mujahideen terror outfit were killed in an encounter this evening at Posh Creeri area of South Kashmir's Anantnag district. Police said that both the slain terrorists were involved in the killing of one territorial army personnel on the 9th of April last year and in the killing of 2 civilians on the 29th of May 2021. According to official sources, the bomb disposal squad was subsequently called on the spot and the IED was being destroyed as per the reports last given. Further details are awaited.
UK's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss was appointed as the next Prime Minister of Britain by Queen Elizabeth II at the Balmoral estate in Scotland. The appointment was made shortly after outgoing British Prime Minister Boris Johnson met the monarch to formally offer his resignation. Liz Truss takes office a day after Britain's Conservative Party's over 170,000 members elected her as their leader in a tough race against Indian-origin former Chancellor Rishi Sunak. In her victory speech on Monday, the incoming Prime Minister Truss promised to deliver on the economy, the energy crisis and the overstretched healthcare system as the country faces major crises on these fronts, especially owing to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the COVID pandemic. Breaking with tradition, this is the first time in Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign that the handover of power is taking place at Balmoral rather than Buckingham Palace in London. The change in the location of the ceremony sparked rumours over the health of the 96-year-old Queen. Earlier in the day, UK's outgoing Prime Minister bade farewell to 10 Downing Street, the official residence of the British Prime Minister. In Asia Cup T20 cricket, India were 127 for 4 in 15 overs against Sri Lanka in the Super 4 game at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium when reports last came in. Earlier, Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to field.
The key domestic stock indices closed almost flat, a report from the business desk.
The Sensex fell 49 points to close at 59,197. Nifty also was down 10 points to settle at 17,656. At the forex market, the rupee appreciated marginally by 1 paise to 79 rupees and 84 paise against the dollar. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold futures for October was trading at 50,470 rupees per 10 grams. Silver futures for September was trading at 53,800 rupees per kilogram when reports last came in. And global crude oil prices fell after a 2-day rally as concern returned about weaker demand and the prospect of more interest rate hikes. Brent crude was trading at $92.80 per barrel. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for AIR News.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature will be 26, while maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. Mumbai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 26 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperature will hover between 27 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will witness a thunderstorm with rain. Temperature will hover between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Srinagar is expected to have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the evening or night. Temperature will be between 15 and 30 degrees Celsius. Jammu and Muzaffarabad are expected to have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Leh will have a generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. In the south, Hyderabad will experience a generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Bengaluru will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain, while Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bangladesh counterpart Sheikh Hasina inaugurate 1,320 megawatt Maitree power plant. Both the countries inked 7 MOUs. India's first intranasal COVID-19 vaccine by Bharat Biotech gets DCGI approval for emergency use. India and United States partnership of trust rests on 3 pillars of trade, tech and talent, says Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. National Commission for Scheduled Caste directs bankers to implement central welfare programs within deadline. Demat accounts in India cross 10 crore for the first time. ED raids multiple locations across the country in connection with Delhi excise policy case. Queen Elizabeth II appoints Liz Truss as the next Prime Minister of Britain. And in Asia Cup T20 cricket, match between India and Sri Lanka is underway in the Super 4 game at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and on News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.